Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, Breaking Bad Goddess. Today I want to talk about, well, love. Love in a sense of how we should treat each other, how you should treat yourself, and how self-love has to be the first step before you decide to embark on a relationship with anyone, and discerning people's intentions when the words that drip from their mouth sounds like honey, but in reality, it's something else entirely. I came across what really inspired this video. I came across a Facebook post from a Black male who was directing a question to Black women on, and I'll paraphrase. The question he posed was, how can I, as a Black man, or Black males in general, love Black women more? And the vast majority of Black women were very swayed and flattered, or felt that question was, so wonderful, like Black men are stepping up to the plate. But there was a portion of Black women on there that pretty much didn't find it very flattering. And for good reason, because it's a ridiculous question. It really is. You either love someone or you don't love them, right? You either care about someone or you don't care. If you need an instructional manual on how to love Black women who have birthed you, Black women who has birthed all humanity, in fact, then something's really amiss. And I'm really shocked. I'm not shocked. It's par for the course, because I do see Black women oozing with desperation for love, because many of us are single. Many of us are, well, we just have an air of desperation. And that desperation, people can see, they can smell it, they can see it, they can feel it. And it doesn't do you any favors to be desperate. You will not attract anyone worthy if you have an air of desperation on you. And those women on that Facebook post sounded very desperate. And it is desperation, because if I have to give a manual on how to love me, then you don't need to be in my life. Okay? It's funny how Black men need a manual to love Black women, but they have no problems loving non-Black women, and they don't need a manual or step-by-step instructions for that. But for you, as a Black woman, they need a manual. I mean, this is crazy talk. And as Black women, we should not be flattered by that. In fact, we should be insulted, because it is insulting. You love who you want, but you shouldn't need an instruction on how to love someone. You either love them or you don't love them. And as simple as that. I've been married for over 20 years. When I met my husband in church over 20 years ago. And the air of desperation of Black women in the church, you can cut it with a knife. And, my husband, quite frankly, is very handsome. He's tall, he's very handsome. And the way these women were going after him in church was just crazy. I don't chase men, ladies, and neither should you. And it goes back to what I said earlier in this video about self-love. You have to love yourself more than anything else. If you love yourself, then the person who wants to be with you won't need an instructional manual on how to love you. If you model self-love, they'll know how to love you. So as these women were chasing my husband around church, here I was, completely aloof. I handled or carried myself in a manner that, I didn't feel like I needed anyone in my life. I was very focused on going to school at the time. I was focused on building my life back up after a bad marriage. I really was cultivating my life and not really concerning myself with going into another relationship. And really, what it boils down to, I was loving myself. I was loving myself to be really more focused on my own life and getting myself financially and educationally and a whole lot of other things in line. I didn't close off love, but I really wasn't focusing on it at the time. And that's very appealing to men, really worthy men. They don't like being chased. They find there's no thrill in the conquering and the chasing if women are doing all the chasing. It just doesn't work that way, ladies. You have to understand how men think. And being that desperate, being that open, being that giving in the beginning of any relationship, eventually men will conquer and move on. And this is how we find ourselves in very bad relationships or bad dynamics. You're giving more and getting less, when really it should be the opposite. So through all that time that these women were chasing my husband, he was eyeing me, looking at me, and I was somewhere else. When he did finally approached me and courted me and dated, and we dated, and eventually we both fell in love, and we got married. But it was just amusing to me, because even though I was in the situation with him in this relationship, I was also looking at all the players on the chessboard. I was a spectator in all this stuff. And even at that time, I peeped why a lot of women are single, why a lot of women are having a difficult time narrowing down or getting, the men of their choice. Is that you're too available, you're too open, you're too desperate. And I hate to use that word because it sounds, it's not a nice thing to say about people in general, but that it really is what it is. It's desperation. You cannot be that way. You cannot have that air of desperation, like I saw on that Facebook post with that man saying, how do I love black women more? And all the black women just fell. And, they just, thought that, here's at least one black man who loves us. And I'm saying that's not love. That's not love. That's gaslighting. That's, that's really a put down if you really think about it, because you shouldn't have to instruct anyone on how to love you. The love comes, whether, it should just come organically. It shouldn't have to be forced. You shouldn't have to give an instructional manual on how people should love you. You either love someone or you don't love them. It's just as simple as that. And you don't make yourself so available and so desperate that you'll take anybody who gives you a little grain of affection. Let them chase you. Let them come to the plate, bringing something. Don't swoon over words. Actions. Love is an action word. It's not just, speaking and adoration and poems. Love is an action in which they're going to demonstrate their love, improve their love to you. So I just wanted to say that to a lot of black women. I don't pitch myself as a relationship guru, but I do know a thing or two about relationships and marriage. I like to think of myself as someone who is a spectator in observing people and observing behaviors and observing, just looking at different scenarios in my life and gleaning some wisdom to impart upon you, and to understand that there is a game to courtship. There is some level of give and take, and that really what it boils down to is loving yourself enough that eventually someone else is going to love you the same way you want to be, the way you're loving yourself. And that's really what it comes down to, self-love. Love yourself, and then there'll be someone out there to love you. So that's all I have for today. I'd be interested in your commentary down below, and thank you for the increase in subscribers. I am very grateful. I hope a lot of what I say resonates. I enjoy doing YouTube videos, and I am open to any other topics of discussion that you want me to talk about, that I feel that I can bring to the table and impart some wisdom. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.